The Oversight Committee's mission statement is that we exist to secure two fundamental principles. First, Americans have a right to know the money Washington takes from them is well spent. And second, Americans deserve an efficient, effective government that works for them. Our duty on the Oversight and Government Reform Committee is to protect these rights. Our solemn responsibility is to hold government accountable to taxpayers, because taxpayers have a right to know what they get from their government. It's our job to work tirelessly in partnership with citizen watchdogs to deliver the facts to the American people and bring genuine reform to the federal bureaucracy. Let us be very clear today. The United States Post Office is in crisis. The American people lost in the range of $16 billion last year. They never wrote a check. The appropriators never had a meeting and authorized anything. And this committee was unable to take effective action. Last summer, the United States Post Office defaulted on $11 billion in payments required by law. And every day they lose $25 million as we speak. The situation is both unacceptable and as much Congress and the administration's fault as any of the hundreds of thousands of workers at the post office. Ultimately, we have kicked the can down the road, first in 2006 by not doing enough, and then every year since then. In 2006, I don't think anyone was predicting an additional 25% reduction in postal volume in just 6 years. The Post Office will and has continued to make some adjustments. Attrition has been a primary tool, but less people in large, out-of-date facilities is not the answer. Real reorganization, fundamental restructuring, right-sizing facilities, and being allowed to innovate in new products is essential. Today we will hear from two panels. Those two panels are in fact essential to us. We have an obligation, and Representative Smith, I appreciate your being here today. We have an obligation to 50 state and all the territorial delivery. We have a universal delivery system that is at the heart of what the Post Office does that no private sector company is tasked to do. And we're proud of that. And the Post Office has been proud of that for 200 years. But to preserve delivery to every point in the globe and every point in the United States by the U.S. Postal Service requires real change, including the retiree health care plan. We will hear today from the second largest postal union, which believes Mr. Cummings, my ranking member, does not go far enough and does not entirely do away with the retiree health care funding. And you'll notice I didn't say pre-funding, because if you stop making the payments, ultimately you will not be able to make those payments. Mr. Cummings knows that, I know that, and it's the reason that any bill that comes from this committee will restructure to the greatest extent possible, but recognizes that those bills will come due and they must be addressed by this committee if we're to be realistic about reforms that will guarantee a post office well into the next century. We could discuss plenty of reforms here today, but the truth is reforms are going to come primarily from us enabling the system to work properly. Congress must reduce or eliminate the kinds of preconditions we put on whenever possible while maintaining our requirement of universal service. Our commitment is bipartisan. Our need for a bill is urgent, and we intend to do it in the coming weeks. Among the most important cost savings that can no longer be overlooked is shifting the Postal Service from 6-day to 5-day. This was once opposed almost universally, but as time has gone on, we have found more and more of the major shippers recognizing that the alternative of higher cost is more unacceptable than having to adjust when you ship a package so that it arrives at the time that the customer needs it. But let's understand, going from 6 to 5-day, even if it achieves the $2 billion a year savings, is but a small down payment. We must look at every possible savings, and those savings must not be on the back of longtime workers. They cannot be on the back of those who have given their careers. We must find acceptable ways to offer retirement and right-sizing to postal workers, and I believe we can do that. At the same time, postal unions must join with us to work together to make the kinds of efficiency increases that allow high pay, good benefits to be earned now and in the future while delivering a product that can meet the requirement of the customer. I believe we can do that. I believe we will do that. I'd like to take a moment to thank my ranking member who has worked hard on as far as we've gotten. I will not say that his vision of the bill and my vision of the bill are yet identical, but our teams have worked together, and we've worked across the dome. As a matter of fact, I'll now ask unanimous consent that a letter signed by both the chairman and ranking member, Senator Carper and Senator Colburn, be placed in the record. Without objection, so ordered. We in the House, we in the Senate must get together, and we must do it this year if we are going to begin to have the post office make the changes now, with the money that we are currently losing being the money we invest in no longer losing in the future. And with that, I recognize the ranking member for his opening statement.